y'all, it's Chrissy O here from Chrissy O's Clucky Chronicles YouTube channel and ChrissyOShow.com. So today we're going to do a wonderful series on our playlist here from our Southern Farm Stories. And just trust me on this one, okay? So I'm going to be coming at you from the heart of the South, the beach, the coast, whatever you want to call it, lovely eastern North Carolina coast. We're going to be doing this whole thing here because I think it's important and I like it. And it was part of my childhood growing up as far as visiting it. And I took my kids there. So I know we usually chat about, clucking hens, bountiful harvest, and like the simple joys of like farm life. But today we're going to take a little detour to the salty shores of eastern North Carolina, y'all. Okay, so don't worry. I'm going to tie it all in together with that same southern spirit of hard work, family ties, and holding on to your heritage like a mama hen guards her chicks. So no worries about that, okay? Let's go ahead and do this. So a while back, I packed up my, we rented a vehicle, and I packed up the kids, and I packed up, other kids and people that I had been teaching and working with, and they wanted to go to FortMacon because some of them had never been before. So we headed east. We went to FortMacon State Park. Now that's right there on the edge of Atlantic Beach. Now it is a very pretty sight to see if you've never been. They have websites all about it. It's part of the state park system. FortMacon has been there forever. So I want to talk about it just a little bit. And if you get an opportunity to visit it and you like history, then please go do so. Because we do. We enjoy it and the kids like it too. So anyway, the old brick building walls, they just stand so tall there against the ocean breeze. You got dunes. Man, you've got birds wheeling overhead. You got people that are flying kites there too if you're lucky enough to see it. It's just like everything there is just keeping watch at that fort. Now we wandered around and it's just so immersive and so cool to see that history there. It's just right there under our shoes. And if you even want to, they've got places you can picnic there. You can take little guided walks outside. You can even walk down to visit the little waves that they got there. And for some reason, it just got me thinking about, man, this would make a great Southern farm story. And I just tie it all in, because this whole place, FortMacon, with all of its historical uniqueness, I mean, places like this is no different when you think about it for your family farm, your family homestead, because it's rooted real deep in the soil and it's weathered by storms. But it's always bouncing back with some kind of story to tell, right? So just grab your sweet tea, a coffee, whatever beverage of your choice, and let's just journey back in time a little bit to the story of FortMacon. It's a good tale of bravery. Got some heartbreak in it, but it also has an unbreakable Southern heart that keeps us going. And if you know, you know. Now I want to start the story way back. Now it's way back after the War of 1812 when folks in Washington, they just realized our little young nation needed some better defenses against them invaders, So the British had sailed right up our coast, burning and pillaging, and Uncle Sam said, no, not again. So as part of the big old plan to fortify the seaboards, they set their sights on Bogue Banks. The skinny barrier islands that's kind of guarding Beaufort Inlet, that's the gateway to safe harbors like Morehead City and Beaufort. So now about from 1826 to 1834, hardworking engineers and laborers, many of them were local Southern boys with calloused hands from farming and fishing. See how I tied that in there? They built FortMacon brick by brick. So can you imagine that? Just hauling stone and mortar across the sands and just sweating under the Carolina sun. It's just all to protect their homes and families. Now, it was named after Nathaniel Macon, a true son of North Carolina. A farmer at heart turned statesman who served in Congress and the Senate, and he was just fighting for states' rights and simple living. He was the kind of man who rather tend his fields than chase any fancy titles. And naming the fort after him, well, that's just the Southern pride thing shining through. If you ever come to North Carolina, especially Eastern North Carolina, you'll notice that there's things named after folks all over the place. FortMacon's no different. Now, the fort, it's a pentagon-shaped beauty. It's got thick walls, moats, and it had room for 26 big guns facing the sea. Now, it wasn't just a pile of bricks, okay? It was a home away from home for soldiers, and they were there in the 1830s and 40s. Now, you got to picture them, young men from nearby farms leaving their plows and loved ones to stand guard. They drill at dawn and then share stories around the fire at night. You know, they could have been dreaming or thinking about their harvest time back home or whatever. So, in the peaceful years, they made improvements, strengthening ramparts, adding barracks, kind of like tending a family plot to make it last for generations, if you know what I mean. And you know, life like farming, it ain't always sunny. If you're homestead, farmstead, or a backyard enthusiast, storms come. And for FortMacon, the storm was the Civil War. So those old boys in gray, you know, on April 14th, 1861, just days after Fort Sumter fell, a local militia from Beaufort, Morehead City, led by Captain Josiah Pender, marched in and seized the fort without a shot fired. They were farmers, fishermen, fathers. They were just protecting their way of life, their southern toil and their southern soil from what they saw as northern aggression. Now, for a year under Colonel Moses White, they fortified it with 54 heavy guns and 450 souls, all while families back home prayed for their safe return. Then they had the Union Tide. In early 1862, Major General Ambrose Burnside launched his campaign along the North Carolina coast. His boys captured Roanoke Island, then New Bern, and set their sights on FortMacon. On March 23rd, Brigadier General John G. Parke took Morehead City, then Beaufort without much of a fuss. He demanded surrender, but Colonel White, God love him, said no. He knew what was at stake: homes, hearths, the very heart of Eastern North Carolina in the South. So the siege began. Union forces dug in, setting up batteries just half a mile away, and then for weeks, tension built like a summer thunderstorm. On April 25th, after a final refused surrender, the bombardment, it started at dawn. There was 11 hours of fire. Rifled cannons just pounding the walls, proving how outdated masonry forts had become. So bricks were crumbling, powder magazines nearly exploding. The Confederates fought brave, but 7 killed and 18 wounded. White had no choice. So at 4:30 p.m. he raised the white flag to save his men. Union losses, just 1 killed, 3 wounded. The next morning, the Stars and Stripes flew again, and the captured Southern boys were paroled, sent home to their waiting families, scarred, hey, but they were alive. Now, y'all think about the families. Wives and mamas back home on the farms, tending the crops alone, raising young'uns while wondering if their men would ever come home. The siege wasn't just about battles, it was about love, loss, and the quiet strength that binds us Southern folks together. Those soldiers on both sides were kin, in a way, all dreaming of peace and plowing fields under a free sky. And in the end, mercy prevailed. Paroled men returned to rebuild, planting seeds of hope in war-torn soil. So after the war, the Union repaired the fort and used it through Reconstruction as a garrison and even a prison. But by 1877, the troops pulled out, leaving it quiet. It stirred again in 1898 for the Spanish-American War, with soldiers manning the walls once more. And then in 1903, the Army called it quits, thinking it'd never be needed again. World War I came and went without a whisper from FortMacon. But here's where the heartwarming really shines through, like, that sunshine after the rain. So in 1923, the old fort was up for sale as surplus. But these old North Carolinians, they wouldn't have it. It's part of us. It's part of our history. So folks rallied, politicians and everyday farmers, coastal families. They said, this is our history. It's our legacy. So by 1924, Congress deeded it to the state for a public park, making it the second spot in what became our beloved state park system. So then you got the Great Depression. It hit hard, but it brought blessings too. The Civilian Conservation Corps, those fine young folks building trails and fixing up the land, they camped there, restoring the fort with great love and care. They cleared the dunes, built facilities, and on May 1st of 1936, FortMacon State Park opened as North Carolina's first fully developed park. Imagine that joy. Families could picnic where cannons once roared, kids could run free on the beaches, and the Works Progress Administration added a public beach in the early 40s, turning it into a haven for everybody. Then World War II called once again. So on December the 21st, 1941, after Pearl Harbor, Coast Artillery troops moved in, using the fort to watch for German U-boats, sulking off of our shores. Now those brave souls, many from Southern farms, they stood vigil protecting the home front. By late 1944, the threat eased and the Army left for good on October the 1st, 1946. Now back to the people it went. It was a state park from then on out forevermore. Today, FortMacon, it stands proud in Carteret County. It's 39 miles southeast of New Bern on the tip of Bogue Banks. It's 415 acres of history and nature impeccably restored, with daily guided tours at 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. They have cannon firings, musket demonstrations, and exhibits that just make you feel like you're stepping way back in time. Now, y'all can also hike. It's like nearly 5 miles of trails through salt marshes and dunes. You can spot over 300 different bird species, like them elegant egrets just dancing in the wind. They're so cute. Or you can fish off the jetties. Now the beach, it's good for swimming if you swim. You can do some shell hunting. You can watch the dolphins play. But there's also a very nice visitor center. They got picnic spots, and they have a seasonal bathhouse as well that's open from 9 a.m. most days, with hours, changing or stretching longer in the summer, shorter in the fall and the winter. Just need to check the sign for that. Now, when we visited, it just made me just feel so nostalgic, maybe, for like just the history that we have there at the fort. And it was so wonderful just seeing families and friends and people with kids like ours, just reading all the information. The guides were telling tales, just these wide-eyed kids, and so many couples that were just strolling hand in hand. There was just folks from all walks of life just there honoring the past. So a good thing about that, and another thing to mention, is it's free to enter. So just like the grace of a good harvest, there you go. So there's no reason why you can't visit. And also, if you're camping, just go head to like nearby Hammocks Beach State Park. A lot of people go out there to camp out. Just make sure that you're following all the rules and regulations and things that they have there. Especially, you want to make sure that the state parks are kept clean and nice, and they have rules that you got to follow, so just be sure you're doing all that. So to wrap it up here, y'all, Fort Macon story, it ain't just bricks and battles. It's about us Southerners, us North Carolina folks. We're rooted like old oak trees. We're resilient, and we keep coming back and doing more. And we're just like sea oats in a strong storm. We're going to be there. That's just how it is. So you got from the builders dreaming of the home, to soldiers fighting for their kinfolks, to the families that still preserve Fort Macon today. It's a great reminder our history shapes us, but our love and commitment to it keeps us all strong, keeps us all doing all the right things that we should be doing. So the next time you guys are out, like tilling in your garden or gathering your eggs, just think of Fort Macon. Even if you haven't visited, make a plan to go visit, because it's just proof that with faith, family, and a bit of that good old Eastern North Carolina Southern grit, we do endure tough things. So thank y'all for joining me on this absolutely wonderful Chrissy O's Clucky Chronicle Southern Farm Stories. If you enjoy it, just like and subscribe, and share your own in the comments if you visited Fort Macon. What's your your favorite thing about the fort? What's your favorite stuff about Fort Macon? I heart y'all great big. Do me a favor, if you visit, send us some pictures. We'll be happy to post it on the website for our photos and friends. Just go to ChrissyOShow.com and see photos and friends of people we have posted with their floofs and anything that we talk about on here. If you guys go visit and you think it's worth your time and you like it, let us know. We'll be glad to chat with you about it. Anyway, I heart y'all great big. Thank you for watching, subscribing, joining. Don't forget, I got a free giveaway coming up when we reach 1,500 subscribers. If you're signed up for the monthly email newsletter and that whole list, you're going to get the free recipe ebook coming out. That's going to be for everybody. So I want everybody to be a winner, and I want everybody to have it. So there you go. So y'all enjoy all of our state parks. Be sure to go visit Fort Macon. It's a wonderful place. I'm glad I got to chat with y'all about it today. And I will see y'all next time. If you can't be good, I don't know what to tell you other than just be good at it.